Alright, we are on the play with Rug Delver. This is a keep. This is a pretty good keep. We'll probably get a breeding pool off of this foothills to slam our Delver. We obviously want a blue source, and I think I'd rather have double green than double red in most matchups. Double red comes mostly in handy for Bolt Snap Bolt. So basically, if you think you need to burn somebody out, double red might be the way to go. If you're running Simic Charm, double green gets a lot better because you can go Fatty and Simic Charm in the same turn. And I also like double green if you're playing Traverse. Here's an Inquisition. We actually have a hand that's pretty good against Inquisition right now. So that's nice. They can take a Visions, they can take our Tarfire. They couldn't take our Delver because we were on the play. And they can't take Hoots with Inquisition, so yeah, this is actually quite good. Normally Inquisition is very good against us. We won't reveal Goyf. We probably don't play it either. I think we're just going to Visions, see what happens, potentially do something with the Stomping Ground. Seeing an Inquisition of Kozilek makes me think we probably don't need to shock here. It's pretty unlikely that green-black has something that we need to Tarfire, especially when they know that we have a Tarfire in hand. So we're just going to play that tapped, get in for one, and kick it back to them. Blooming Marsh means no Death's Shadow, but it could be Abzan, it could be Green-Black Tron. Verdant Catacombs basically means it's probably not Green-Black Tron. Bitter Blossom makes me think Green-Black Rock. Could be an Abzan deck. That makes me glad we sent 2 lands to the bottom. We probably want to play this. I think we want to play this. Can't say for sure. I actually think we're going to fetch here. On the one hand, if we don't fetch, we have Delver Scry, which is nice. On the other hand, if we do fetch, we can use blue-green to play Goyf and then have red up for Tarfire, which is nice. Let's start by getting in for one. Do we want to fetch? They know what our hand is. No, they don't know the Goyf or the Forked Bolt. We saw those off of Delver. Well, we saw the Goyf off of Delver. The Forked Bolt we drew off of a Serum Visions, I believe. I think we're just going to fetch and play our stuff, although they know we have this in hand, so maybe it's not super relevant. Maybe we just play Goyf, have Delver Scry. Let's do that. Worst comes to worst, we can get a red shock, pay shock, and then Tarfire. So it's not like we don't have that ability. We definitely want to have 2 threats in case they have a turn 3 Liliana. Shambling Vents means we are playing against Abzan. We're not going to fetch here. That would be silly. We have a very uncooperative Delver of Secrets, but that's okay. Because at least it drew us, or it showed us another Delver. It didn't draw us anything. I kind of want to swing with both of these. If they block the Delver, we can Tarfire the Fairy Rogue and buff the Goyf. Fairy Rogue is such an awkward name for a token. I understand it's race class, but I still don't like it. I think we're just going to swing with both. They probably want to chump the Goyf, but if they decide they don't, we'll just Tarfire the Rogue. We have Forked Bolt anyway, so I'm not too sad about giving up our Tarfire to squeeze in some damage here or there. Here's an Abrupt Decay, which means they probably are about to block the Delver of Secrets. Let's not let that happen. They're taking out Goyf, so there's nothing to block except for the Delver of Secrets. I don't know if we give up the Tarfire to get the 1 point in, but it does save the Delver, so we may as well do it there. Now, I don't know if we want to play this Mandrills or the well, it's not an Aberration yet, or the Delver. Mandrills or Delver. Either way, I want to leave this Scalding Tarn ready to go. I kind of want to play Mandrills. I feel like it's just better against Bitter Blossom. And really it is just better against Bitter Blossom. If they slam a Tarmogoyf, we're going to be in at least some amount of trouble. Mandrills has some problems when it comes up against a Tarmogoyf. On the other hand, there are only 3 types in the graveyards. Playing Delver also makes Delver Scry better because when you have 2 Delvers, one can scry for the other. I think I want Mandrills sooner rather than later, though. Our opponent has their 4th land, and they're cracking it. They don't know anything in our hand, which is nice. If this is a Liliana, we're going to end up sacrificing the Delver, and then cleaning it up with Forked Bolt. It's a Thoughtseize. I don't know what they take here. I think they're just about to slam a Liliana of the Veil, so they're making sure the way is clear, and they don't get blown out by a Stubborn Denial or something. They took the threat, and here's the Liliana. Yep, that's going to happen. We no longer need to hold up this Tarn. Oh, they're ticking up. Look at that. We're going to keep holding up this Tarn. Yep. Hopefully Delver transforms. I guess Trample is fine. We can pressure the Liliana thanks to Trample. We're not going to fetch because we still have our Delver. What did they... I already had the graveyard up. What did they discard? A Marsh Flats. What do we got? I will reveal that. However, it's not very good here. Disrupting Shoal is pretty bad in a top deck war. We don't have anything to fuel it, so that's not going to be great. Our opponent also is basically in a position to slam a bunch of Haymakers one after the other. So being able to cancel a 1 CMC spell, blue, X equals 1, isn't going to be great. What do we do here? I think we just pressure the Liliana. The thing is, I don't know if I want to just go right at the Liliana. We could just play a land, hit Liliana down a bit, and then have the Aberration go at the opponent. That way the tick up from the Liliana doesn't actually bother us. But at the same time, I like when our opponent doesn't have a Liliana of the Veil in play. Hoots definitely goes at Liliana because we need to pressure it and it can't be chump blocked. The question is, do I want to deal 3 to the opponent or finish off their Planeswalker? Let's go for 3 to the face. Sure, they keep their Planeswalker around, that's fine. Yup. Now, the way leaving this Liliana on the table could go badly for us is if they have enough removal to take out both of our threats so that Liliana can tick up and come back to bite us. If they have a path, we're going to be in trouble, basically. Ooh! Siege Rhino is about as bad. Abzan doesn't play a lot of Siege Rhino these days. But I guess that's still good. It's certainly good against us. Are they ticking up? Or is that card in their hand important? It's not. They're going to tick up. That's fine. I think we fetch here. We're at 13. They're not... They might swing with the Rhino. I actually don't know how soon they'll be swinging in with the Rhino. I think we're going to fetch here. It puts us dead to 3 hits from the Rhino. But the Bitter Blossom is pretty likely to... Oh, that's fine. We still have that on the stack. The Bitter Blossom is pretty likely to add extra damage to us. They are going to end up with a lot of 1/1s, so I don't think this particular point is going to save us. They have an easy job if all they need to do is put us down to 12 with whichever Fairy Rogue they please. Steam Vents, we probably should just get the double red here. It's unlikely to be very relevant, but maybe we top deck a Knuckleblade. Dismember is an amazing draw. Wow, is that good. Okay, so Mandrills at Liliana. Aberration is going at them. We're going to go very low here, but that's okay. We're also going to be at the mercy of Shambling Vent. So Mandrills there. Aberration there. Let them block. Shambling Vent costs 3 to activate. It'll do 2 to us, and it'll gain them 2. They didn't want to block with the Rogue. We're going to pay 4 life, because that's the only way we know how. Target that. Pay 1. Alright, so our opponent's going down to 7. Which, really, given that they have a Bitter Blossom on board, if they don't draw some gas, we're probably in good shape. And then again, if your opponent ever doesn't draw gas, I suppose you're normally in good shape. But I digress. They're at 6. They need the Shambling Vent. They're probably going to need the Shambling Vent to pull themselves back into the game. They're not using it to block, which is interesting. Which means they don't want to trade these for Mandrills. One of them would actually get to survive. They're racing. They're almost certainly going to block with this Fairy Rogue on our Mandrills. Fatal Push is going to make it difficult for us to race, because that means they don't need to block, and if we swing at them, they'll go down to 4, go down to 3 off of the Bitter Blossom. Denial is not good, so here's the awkward part. If we leave Mandrills back to block the Shambling Vent, they just won't attack with it, and sooner or later we're going to die to Fairy Rogues. If we swing with the Mandrills, they're going to swing with the Shambling Vent anyways. So in what scenario do we survive? I think we don't attack with the Mandrills. If we attack with the Mandrills, we're going to take 4 and go down to 1. They'll go to 4, 3 off of Bitter Blossom, up to 5 afterwards. And then a Burn Spell is lethal if we swing with Mandrills. If we don't swing with Mandrills, they're going to go down to 7. We're going to go down to 3. Then we attack. They take 1, game 2. They go up more. I think that puts them back to 8. So basically we need to swing and hope to draw a Lightning Bolt. That's what I got out of that. I think I did the math right. I guess we're going to find out. Well, it really only matters if we top deck a Lightning Bolt, but anyways, they also need to not draw a very good creature. Siege Rhino is straight up lethal. Pretty much any fatty makes it so we can't swing nicely. I'm going to defiantly counter that. There's no point, but still. It's not like we can do anything else. Okay. They're going to send that vent up. We're going to take 4. They're going to go to 5. And we need a Burn Spell. Or a Vapor Snag. Vapor Snag's fine. Thanks to the Bitter Blossom, I believe Vapor Snag does enough. Actually, we don't even need it. We bounce this. They go to 4. Mandrills does the job. So we basically just need any removal for this token, and the Bitter Blossom will kill them. What do we got? It's a Traverse. We have 4 card types. Sweet. I like having extra copies of Snapcaster Mage in my deck. Do you? Let's not miss it. Snapcaster Mage. That was a good top deck. Traverse gives us good top decks. That's why I like Traverse. It also lets us smooth out our land drops, which is certainly helpful. What do we got in here? Just 1 Burn Spell. It's enough. If we didn't have that Forked Bolt in the yard, it wouldn't have done the trick. We're just going to send Forked Bolt at them. Doesn't really matter. And combat. We have to do it at sorcery speed, though. So let's be at least somewhat careful. Snapcaster comes down, and they scoop. Fantastic. That was a good game. I really like the fair matchups. I like all the matchups when you play Delver. In the non-interactive ones, we interact with them, so we don't really force them to play a fair game, but it's still interactive. And in the fair matchups, it's just interactive back and forth. Creature combat, math and stuff. It's great. Magic's fun. Blood Moon is amazing against Abzan. It can turn off Siege Rhino, it can turn off Liliana of the Veil, it can turn off Manlands. Seems good. Every now and then it just totally mana screws them. EE is good against Goyfs, but I don't know if I want it against Abzan. Vapor Snag is good against Fatties, so that seems okay. Huntmaster is certainly something I want here. Staticaster actually seems really good. It's good against Lingering Souls, and it's good against Bitter Blossom. It also allows our Mandrills and Knuckleblade to trade with Siege Rhino. Revelry seems really good when the opponent is running Bitter Blossom. I'm also half expecting them to board in something like Rest in Peace and that sort of shenanigans. I don't think we need the Artifact hate. Spell Snare is a nice card for mid-range matchups because there are a lot of powerful 2-drops in this format. Bitter Blossom, they don't have Snapcaster Mage, but they do have Tarmogoyf, and that's something I'd like to counter. I don't know if I want Pyroclasm. I guess Engineered Explosives gets a lot better when we expect the opponent to have tokens. We can just play it for 0, crack it for 2, job done. So I want 10 to 12 cards. Boarding out 10 to 12 cards is probably going to be difficult. Forked Bolt is probably marginally better than Lightning Bolt here, so let's take 3 of these out. Better against tokens, possibly better against Liliana. Dismember is very good. Let's cut the Thought Scours. We'll cut the Disrupting Shoals. Where are they? We need at least 2 more cards out of the deck. I think since we're only playing 2 Mana Leaks, I want both. I wouldn't mind cutting down 1 Stubborn Denial because I don't want too many cards that will eventually be dead. Mandrills is pretty good, but I wouldn't mind cutting 1. So we have 10 cards free here. Do we want to try to squeeze in the Pyroclasms? How good is Knuckleblade here? It's bad against Siege Rhino. It's also debatably bad against Goyf, but it's pretty good against Liliana of the Veil. I think I'm going to keep it like that. Not board in the Pyroclasms. We probably have enough things against tokens. This hand looks pretty good. I'm full on assuming that they have a turn 1 or at least turn 2 Inquisition / Thoughtseize, but that's fine because that takes our Blood Moon. We slam a turn 1 Delver. Turn 2, hopefully we do something decent. Turn 3, Knuckleblade. Turn 4, if we hit our land drops, we slam Huntmaster. We have a pretty decent curve here. And it looks like our opponent does not have a turn 1 discard spell. Which means they... Nope. Possibly a misclick. Looks like it was a misclick, folks. Basic Swamp, Thoughtseize. Now, because they got the basic Swamp, they might actually ignore the Blood Moon and just try to take our threats. That or they think that Blood Moon is good enough against them. Apparently they don't. So it looks like they're just going to play around Blood Moon with some fetch lands. Ooh. Misty is good. We're not going to show them that until the last minute. What land do I want? Probably a Steam Vents off of this Foothills. Let's slam a Delver of Secrets. Now we could be in very bad shape. If our opponent slams a Tarmogoyf here and we don't draw a way to deal with it, we could actually just be in awful shape. Well, they're just cleaning up the board, so that's fine. I think we're just going to slam the Blood Moon anyways. Oh, we can play Mandrills right now. Oh, but if we play Mandrills, we can't... We won't be able to Blood Moon on turn 3. So, what do we do? I think we're just going to play the Scalding Tarn and pass. It's really quite unfortunate. The thing is, if they have Liliana of the Veil, okay, well, they clearly don't. They could still Abrupt Decay a Blood Moon if we tap out for it, though, so we should definitely play around that. That's really important. Let's get a basic island. So if we played Mandrills here and they had Liliana, that's a little unfortunate for us. If we don't play Mandrills here and they have Liliana anyways, that's still probably unfortunate for us because then it ticks up. But at least we have Knuckleblade to eventually pressure the Liliana. And if we slam Blood Moon after a Liliana, I'm not too sad. I think I just want to play a Hooting Mandrills here because I'm basically just expecting them to have Abrupt Decay right now. They know about our basic force, so I don't mind playing that. We could play Savage Knuckleblade. It also could bait out an Abrupt Decay if they have it. On the other hand, Knuckleblade is better against Liliana. And we have 2 Mandrills anyways. I think we're going to preserve our graveyard a little bit. They don't know about 2 cards in our hand. No, we didn't have the Mandrills back then either. Yeah, they know about the Blood Moon and the Knuckleblade. Let's delve. We'll get rid of the lands, leave the creatures. We have a fetch land anyways to put in the bin. So they know about Blood Moon and Knuckleblade. They don't know about the other cards. It's unfortunate that... Here's a Thoughtseize. We're probably going to lose the Blood Moon now. It's unfortunate that we couldn't Blood Moon them without them having Abrupt Decay up, but I would much rather play the Mandrills than the Blood Moon here. Given that our opponent... Oh, that could be very good. We just top-decked Blood Moon. And... you can bet your bottom dollar we're going to cast it. Very unfortunate for our opponent. Amazing for us. Blue, red, green. They don't know that this is a Mandrills. Yes, actually they do because they just Thoughtseized the OG Blood Moon. They know our hand. Bluffing doesn't do anything. On the bright side, we're kind of ahead, so that's good. If they have another swamp, they can Liliana, and that would basically be pretty much just about game ending. Let's play that. I want to delve away this Blood Moon to shrink their Goyf. So I think slamming Mandrills over Knuckleblade feels right. Let's crack this graveyard open. Yes, they do not block. Makes sense. They have... sorcery instant land, so we're going to get rid of the creature, the enchantment, and do we get rid of the land too? I guess we don't. 1, 2. So we want to leave the land. They know about our hand, so I guess bluffing doesn't actually do anything, but we still want to delve exactly 2 cards. Shrink that Goyf. Did I not click the Blood Moon? I'm pretty sure we clicked the Blood Moon. Maybe I didn't. That's pretty awkward. That's fine. We might be able to race, but we also might not. I don't know if I want to accept any damage. Oh! Well, we can race, unless they have... something quite nice. We can definitely race. Let's give that Knuckleblade haste. I think this game's kaput. Yup, they scooped. Pay red, give Knuckleblade haste, swing with the team. They go to -1, taking 12 damage. Hopefully you all enjoyed that video. I certainly did. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.